Any criticism of the Modi government, for example, can easily be equated today with anti-national activity. When your surname is Shah and not Khan, you can get away with an apology in one case and arrest is mandated in the other. Ali Khan Mahmoodabad's crime is that he is an Indian Muslim who is an outspoken critic of the present regime. There is freedom of speech, but I cannot guarantee freedom after speech.
Ali Khan Mahmoodabad has been arrested by the Haryana police
over a controversial social media post related to Operation Sindoor.
This is a social media post by Professor Ali Khan Mahmoodabad that got him behind bars.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर चल रहा है, जब हम सब आपके मीडिया को शाम को देखने के लिए उत्सुक हैं, बैठे हैं कि कब शाम को व्योमिका सिंह आएंगी, कब कर्नल कुरैशी आएंगी और वो हमें बताएंगी कि आज युद्ध में क्या हुआ, तब आप उन बेटियों के लिए ऐसे बोल रहे हैं।
अली खान महमूदाबाद प्रोफेसर ने कोई गलत बात नहीं की तो हरियाणा की पुलिस प्रोफेसर अली खान महमूदाबाद को गिरफ्तार कर ली।
तरफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट कह रहा है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के मध्य प्रदेश के मंत्री जिस तरीके से बयानबाजी कर रहे हैं वो शोभा नहीं देता और उस पर एक एसआईटी भी फॉर्म की गई और वहां दूसरी तरफ हरियाणा में यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर को 18 तारीख को तुरंत अरेस्ट कर लिया जाता है। उन पर भी सेम आरोप लगते हैं।
वहां मंत्री गिरफ्तार नहीं हुए, प्रोफेसर साहब गिरफ्तार हो गए।
Namaskar. Hello and welcome once again, friends, to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Now, a few weeks ago, I broadcast a rather contentious straight bat video blog titled, "My Name is Rahim Khan," if only to reflect upon what it meant to be an Indian Muslim in the age of Hindutva political and social dominance. I was instantly targeted by the Hindu right ecosystem, which accused me of falsely portraying Muslim victimhood to escape confronting, they said, the real problem of rising Islamic extremism. On hindsight, my friends, maybe I got the blog name wrong. I should have titled that video blog, "My Name is Ali Khan Mahmoodabad." The recent arrest of the Ashoka University professor of political science for an opinionated Facebook post reveals to me all that is horribly wrong today with a political establishment and a civil society that has slowly but surely pushed the Indian Muslim to the wall. Ali Khan Mahmoodabad's crime was that he had chosen to express himself on Operation Sindoor on Facebook by questioning what he saw as the hypocrisy of the right-wing commentators in celebrating the presence of Colonel Sophia Qureshi in the government's media outreach on the Indo-Pak conflict. Let me quote what he said. "I am very happy to see so many right-wing commentators applauding Colonel Qureshi, but perhaps they could also equally loudly demand that the victims of mob lynchings, arbitrary bulldozing and others who are victims of the BJP's hate mongering be protected as Indian citizens. The optics of two women soldiers presenting their findings is important, but optics must translate to reality on the court, otherwise it's just hypocrisy." End quote. Ali Khan was effectively drawing a distinction between Colonel Qureshi, who he saw as a token symbol of secularism, and the ground reality of growing discrimination against Indian Muslims. Now, you can disagree with his views, which were a sharp personal critique of the Modi government, but my question is, could it be perceived as an act endangering the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India, or indeed a word, gesture or act intended to insult the modesty of a woman, as the FIR against him suggests? Since when did criticism of a government, any government, however provocative, become criminalized to the point where it attracts immediate arrest merely on a complaint by a village sarpanch who happens to be a BJP Yuva Morcha worker, or indeed a notice sent by the Haryana State Women's Commission, also appointed by a BJP government in Haryana? When asked in a television interview to show how exactly Ali Khan had insulted the modesty of a woman, the Haryana Women's Commission chief Renu Bhatia was clueless despite the repeated questioning, struggling to offer a coherent explanation for any offending line.
Where is he insulted? Give me that exact line, ma'am. We must point out that line today for our viewers. What is that line that Professor Khan used that insulted our women in uniform, ma'am?
एक व्यक्ति सिर्फ ऊपर और नीचे 2 लाइनें आर्मी के लिए लिख के, देश के लिए लिख के, उसके बाद सारा मीनिंग आप बताइए कहाँ नहीं जाता? मैं समझना चाहती हूँ।
मैं आपसे पूछना, आप बताइए।
मेरी इंग्लिश पुअर हो।
It was obvious, my friends, that the Haryana Women's Commission, like many a Sarkari institution in this country, had simply jumped the gun under official instructions to send off a notice to the professor. Aided by a complicit and ham-handed Haryana police, there was clearly no attempt to follow due process or even a pretense at protecting an individual's right to life and liberty. Forget about academic freedom to express an opinion. The case therefore raises several troubling questions. The first one, brazen abuse of power to curb free speech. Please understand, Ali Khan's is not an isolated case. Almost every government in India today, be it at the state or the centre, across parties, uses its executive authority and total control over the police to muzzle dissenting voices. Recall how a Marathi actor, Ketki Chitale, faced arrest in 2022 for allegedly sharing a derogatory post about NCP chief Sharad Pawar on social media. Or how more recently the DMK government in Tamil Nadu was silent when Savaku Shankar, a YouTuber and vocal critic of the ruling party, was targeted with a group entering his house and dumping sewage and excreta in his home. Or don't forget how a few years ago a Kolkata professor was charged and arrested because he had forwarded a Mamta Banerjee cartoon and eventually discharged only 11 years after his arrest. In a sense, the Indian political system has embraced the dictum of the infamous Ugandan dictator Idi Amin Dada, who was once quoted as saying, "There is freedom of speech, but I cannot guarantee freedom after speech." Point number 2. This case, the Ali Khan case, shows just how laws like sedition in this country have been weaponized to target dissenting voices. In 2021, the Supreme Court had observed that sedition is a colonial law that must be struck off the statute books and had stayed its implementation. Guess what? The Modi government's reworked Bharatiya Nyay Sanhita 2024 actually gives law enforcement authorities even more powers to arrest anyone for an act endangering the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. Effectively, sedition is back and laws have been further weaponized to ensure that any criticism of the Modi government, for example, can easily be equated today with anti-national activity. Point number 3. Not only are the laws being weaponized to curb free speech in the country, the application is wholly selective. Who comes under the purview of the law is dependent entirely on the whims and fancies of the power elite. You just have to contrast, my friends, the case of Ali Khan with that of Vijay Shah, the Madhya Pradesh minister, who makes the most disparaging, sexist and communally loaded remarks against Colonel Qureshi.
जिन्होंने हमारी बेटियों के सिंदूर उजाड़े थे, वही कटे पिटे लोगों को हमने उन्हीं की बहन भेज करके उनकी ऐसी की तैसी करवाई.
But instead of sacking the minister, or at least at the very least publicly upbraiding him, guess what? The BJP leadership in Madhya Pradesh rallies around their colleague. The centre is conspicuously silent. while the minister ends up giving an apology of an apology. It required the High Court to insist that a suo motu FIR be filed against the minister, and for the Supreme Court to describe his remarks as a national shame. And while a court-appointed special investigation team has been formed to investigate the minister's remarks, which are clearly on camera, the Madhya Pradesh police hasn't made a single move to question the minister. Forget about arresting him, as was the case in Haryana with Ali Khan. Which brings me to a fourth and a very important issue that underlies the Ali Khan case, a sensitive issue, and listen carefully. A professor with a doctoral degree from Cambridge University with impeccable academic credentials, Khan has one red mark on his CV. He is an Indian Muslim who is unafraid to speak his mind. That he comes from the erstwhile Mahmudabad royal family of Uttar Pradesh, and his grandfather Muhammad Amir Ahmad Khan was a key figure in the pre-partition Muslim League, makes him the perfect enemy figure for a Hindutva-driven ecosystem whose prime objective is to demonize the Indian Muslim as unpatriotic, pro-Pakistani and of questionable character. An opposition leader or an opinion page writer who is not a Muslim could get away by raising questions on Operation Sindoor, as a few have. But an articulate Indian Muslim does not have the same license to do so. Which is why Ali Khan finds himself on the wrong side of the law. His crime, like that of so many Indian Muslims today facing the wrath of state impunity and brazen discrimination, is not that he has said anything that could be deemed violative of any law of the land. Ali Khan Mahmudabad's crime is that he is an Indian Muslim who is an outspoken critic of the present regime. On the other hand, a Vijay Shah can make the most communal remarks that prima facie violated the law, but he will remain untouched because he is, after all, a leading member of the ruling party of this country. That is also the difference, my friends, when your surname is Shah and not Khan. You can get away with an apology in one case, and arrest is mandated in the other. That is New India and its justice systems. Finally, let me end this video blog today by raising a very important question of our Honorable Supreme Court. While granting Ali Khan interim bail, a two-judge bench of Justice Surya Kant, who will become the next Chief Justice later this year, and Justice Kotishar Singh accused the academic of seeking cheap popularity, unnecessarily making political remarks that amounted, the court said, to dog whistles. Really, your lordships? If the words of an academic, however contentious, amount in this case to a dog whistle and cheap publicity, let me ask your lordships, when the Prime Minister of the country on a campaign trail in 2024 warns people that घुसपैठियाज will steal your Mangal Sutras and buffaloes,
हमारी माताओं बहनों के पास जो स्त्री धन होता है, जो मंगल सूत्र होता है, उसका सर्वे करेंगे।
देश की संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। इसका मतलब ये संपत्ति इकट्ठी करके किसको बांटेंगे? जिनके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं उनको बांटेंगे।
When the Home Minister of the country likens infiltrators to termites, when the UP Chief Minister talks of Talibani mindsets and 80-20 politics, when we hear communal rhetoric about Babar ki aulad, Aurangzeb ki aulad, all of which has got normalized, this language of hate, did you or any of your worthy sir in the Supreme Court or any court deem it fit to put an end to this incendiary rhetoric that is now part of our politics, often amplified across news channels? I don't want to say any more, your lordships, for fear of contempt. But next time, instead of our judges making gratuitous observations on the limits of free speech and putting in gag orders, not even allowing Ali Khan to express himself anymore, I hope you will ask yourself a very basic question. Your lordships, those who are charged with being the guardians of our constitution, stand for citizens' rights, or do you stand for coercive state power? That's the question I wish to ask you, and indeed to all the viewers. Think about all that I have said. That was, as always, the Straight Bat. Do of course subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind, Namaskar.